Hello children, let's continue the lesson respiration plan. Today we are starting with tricarboxylic acid cycle or TCA cycle or citric acid cycle or Krebs cycle. Okay, so here the reaction is catalyzed. See children, here the pyruvate, it is a final product of glycolysis, is converted into acetyl coenzyme A. Okay, and this acetyl coenzyme A is entered to the Krebs cycle where oxaloacetic acid is converted into citric acid. Okay, then to alpha ketoglutaric acid, then to succinic acid, then to malic acid, then oxaloacetic acid, and the cycle continues. Okay, so here these steps is oxidized by OOO, that is oxaloacetic acid. That's why the first product is that. That's why the name oxaloacetic acid cycle. Okay, so here pyruvic acid plus 4 NAD plus, then 1 FAD plus and 2 molecules of water and 1 molecules of ADP and inorganic phosphate, and the mitochondrial matrix is converted into 3 carbon dioxide, 4 NADH, 4H plus, then 1 molecule of FADH2 and ATP. Okay, so we know that the glucose has been broken to release carbon dioxide and 8 molecules of NADH and H plus 2 of FADH2 have been synthesized beside just 2 molecules of ATP in this cycle. Okay, so children, you might wonder why we have been discussing respiration at all. Because neither oxygen has come into the picture nor the promised large number of ATP has yet been synthesized. Okay, so now let's discuss the electron transport system or oxidative phosphorylation. Here in oxidative phosphorylation, the following steps are there in respiratory process and to release and utilize energy stored in NADH and FADH2. This is accomplished when they are oxidized through the electron transport system and the electrons are passed on to oxygen, resulting in the formation of H2O. The metabolic pathway through which the electron passes from one carrier to another is called electron transport system, and it is present in the inner mitochondrial membrane. So children, here electrons from NADH is produced in the mitochondrial matrix during citric acid cycle are oxidized by an NADH dehydrogenase. Okay, so here you can see 4 systems. Okay, I will explain one by one. And it is oxidized by an NADH dehydrogenase and electrons are then transferred to ubiquinone. See, ubiquinone located within the inner membrane. So ubiquinone also receives reducing equivalence by cytochrome B C1 complex. So here you can see cytochrome reductase enzyme and cytochrome C and cytochrome oxidase, and here ATP synthase. Then cytochrome C is the normal protein attached to the outer surface of the inner membrane and acts as mobile carrier for transport of electrons between complex 3 and 4. So complex 4 refers to cytochrome C oxidase complex containing cytochrome A and I2 and 2 copper centers. Okay. So children, you just listen. When the electrons pass from one carrier to another, that is from complex 1 to 4 in electron transport chain, they are coupled to ATP synthase for the production of ATP from ADP and IPI, that is inorganic phosphate. Then the number of ATP molecules synthesized depends on the nature of the electron donor. Oxidation of 1 molecule of NADH gives rise to 3 molecules of ATP, while that of 1 molecule of FADH produces 2 molecules of ATP. Okay. Although the aerobic process of respiration takes place only in the presence of oxygen, so the role of oxygen is limited to the terminal stage of this process. Okay. So you have studied about the mechanism of membrane-linked ATP synthase as explained by chemiosmotic hypothesis. Okay. So here finally, so here in this stage we can see ATP with the help of ATP synthase is produced, and this complex consists of two major components F1 and F0. The same diagram is there in our textbook on page number 234. Then the F1 and F0, the F1 is headpiece as a peripheral membrane protein complex and contains a site of synthesis of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate. Whereas F0 is an integral membrane protein complex that forms the channel through which protons cross the inner membrane. So the passage of protons through the channel is coupled to the catalytic site of F1 component for the production of ATP for each ATP produced. 2H plus passes through F0 from the intermembrane space to the matrix down the electron chemical protein gradient. Okay, children. So in our textbook one more topic is there, that is RQ, that is respiratory quotient. It is it is a ratio of the volume of carbon dioxide evolved to the volume of oxygen consumed in respiration. Okay. So that is called respiratory quotient. So here in this reaction, how we calculate the respiratory quotient of glucose? You know that 6 molecules of carbon dioxide is produced and 6 molecules of oxygen is used. So respiration quotient is equal to 6 by 6, that is 1 unit. Okay, children. So that's about the lesson respiration. You study glycolysis, Krebs cycle and electron transport chain. Okay. So thank you, children. Study well.